Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mercy and I'm back here with another very special video. If you are new, welcome. I talk about all things faith and lifestyle, so I'm so happy to have you joining me today. And today is a very special day because I'll be telling my testimony, which I've never shared on a public platform. I don't know if I actually knew what my testimony was. And so if you see me looking down, I'm referring to, some jottings that I have here to keep me on track so I don't veer off. But we're just going to touch on different things and how God delivered me from a spirit of fear. He delivered me from people pleasing, unworthiness, and insecurity. And so stay tuned if you want to, hear how that went. So first things first, just to give a little background, my testimony has always been that God has kept me and protected me. He always kept me hidden. And a lot of the time, I felt hidden and I felt like no one could see me. And so just a little bit about my family history. Like, I am the third and last child of three girls. My parents had me older in age. So, my sisters are both older than me by 6 and 3.5 years. So, we were close when we were younger, but growing up, you start to discover different personalities. So we're not super close, but I love my family. So, I just wanted to put that out there because, a lot of the battles, because, I wasn't super close. I also didn't have a core friend group. Growing up, like, I'm so friendly. It's just my personality trait. Like, I just love people and people draw to me. So I always had like different friend groups and I never had a core group that I could really depend and rely on. So a lot of the battles that I fought were alone. And so I'm going to take you through a journey. Hopefully it all makes sense. Of maybe just touching on maybe like the last 5-10 years, and then of course like different effects that different things that affected me in my childhood. And so first things first, I am a product of divorced parents, and by the grace of God, I am one of those people who look at a situation and say, I'm going to do the opposite, or I'm going to do better. I won't repeat the same cycle. I won't repeat the same trend. And so that's my outlook on that. So, though my parents were divorced at the age when I was 7 years old, I believe that's when they separated. I was never like, oh, I'm not going to get married. Oh, I give up on love. Oh, because my parents were always friends. And so they always made sure to communicate. They stay friends. Like, people today think that they're still married because we just do everything as a family. We're the only family that we have here in Florida because my mom is from Louisiana, my dad is from Nigeria, and so our families are all over the place. And so here in Miami, we have our family of 5 is all that we have. So we always do everything together, celebrate everyone's birthday together. And so that has been a blessing. God has graced me to be able to have parents who are not together but still co-parent well together. So that's some of my background story. And like I said, I never really fit into one particular group. I was always bouncing around. I had a lot of older friends. I would hang with the seniors when I was a freshman, sophomore, and then I had, some friends here and there in my grade. But I always hang with older kids. I think I just have an old soul. I mean, I know I do. So that has a lot to do with it. But so like I said, I fought a lot of battles on my own. Early on, probably like when I was a sophomore or junior in high school, is when I began to like really battle with the spirit of depression. And so I grew up in the church. I was saved when I was 9 years old, March 14th, 2007, or was it 2009? I might have been 10. So, I was baptized and I I was saved at the age of 9 or 10 years old. And so I always walked with God, but I didn't really have like a personal relationship with him. Like I wasn't really praying outside of like church functions. And as I began to grow older in my youth group, I started taking on more responsibilities. And, I'm a natural born leader. So of course, like anything, like every time they would ask somebody to pray and nobody would pray, I was just like, I'll just do it. And so that's kind of how like I started building up in my prayer life and my faith. And it wasn't until I transferred high schools. I went to a charter school from 6th grade to 10th grade, and I transferred to a public school, which was a still very small school because it was it was solely academics. So I did my associate's degree while I was in high school through that program. And it was in that transition that I really started struggling, and I became like super depressed. I didn't know it at the time, but it was definitely depression looking back that I was struggling with. Had I made the right decision? Because I was really finding difficulty adjusting to the new program and to there was no extracurricular, no sports or anything like that. So it was just a very hard adjustment for me. And so I just remember I would come home and I would sleep for 12 hours. Like I would literally come home and go to sleep and not wake up until the next morning. So that is when like I started really like seeking God and praying and developing my relationship with him. So I was about 16 or 17 years old. So fast forward, I graduate from high school with my associate's degree, and I am accepted into the University of Central Florida. And I knew that UCF was going to be my school when I went on the college tour my junior year, and I just felt at peace. I didn't know anything about, making decisions, but I just felt a peace, and it felt like home when I was on that campus. So I was like, okay, this is it. I feel like this is where I need to be. And so, of course, it was God's peace that was with me, indicating that this was the right place for me. So I submitted my application. I was so nervous because everybody was getting their acceptances, and I literally didn't get mine until like July. And I was literally crying when I got my acceptance, because I was like, I didn't think I was gonna get it. Didn't do bad on the SAT at all or anything like that, or ECT. But yeah, so I left for university August 2016, and not long after I moved into my dorm room, I broke out all over my face. My skin was just horrible. I had never dealt with much acne, even in high school. Like I had a couple bumps here and there, little scarring, but it was never anything crazy. But when I tell you guys, I don't know what's in this Orlando water, but the tap water here is horrible compared to Miami, where I'm from. Like, it's just terrible. It has the aftertaste and everything. So I really felt like it had something to do with the water, but I didn't know what to do. I wasn't seeing any dermatologists or anything like that. So I was just using the products that I had always used. I didn't really have a face routine. I didn't have a skincare routine really growing up. I did very minimal things. And so I was just breaking out all over my face, forehead, cheeks, chin, neck. Like, it was so bad that my face was literally covered in scars. And this has been a thing since 2016. I still struggle with this. I still battle with acne. And it's had its moments where it's cleared up and where it's just gotten completely worse. I think 2021 was my worst year ever. Actually 2020. And so I was trying a lot of different products. People started coming up to me. They started noticing, and they would ask me like, what happened to your face? And how rude is that? Like, how rude is that? And think about what that does to somebody's self-esteem. And so I was just all the way down. During my college years, my freshman and sophomore year, like, I would always go out with my friends, and they would have guys approaching them, and no one would be approaching me. And I was just like, what is wrong with me? Like, is my skin like that bad that nobody wants to talk to me? And so I really started to take a hit to my self-esteem and my worth. And I just felt so ugly. I felt so unattractive. And it was just lies, all lies from the enemy. But I really battled very badly with insecurity because of that, with low self-esteem, unworthiness because of my skin. I didn't feel worthy to be approached by any man. Like, I didn't feel like I was attractive enough. And so these are all things that I was dealing with throughout college. I mean, I only did 2 years at UCF, and then graduated, and eventually my skin did progress. But I still never felt like confident, truly confident in myself. There was one semester where I literally wore makeup every single day. And so that really, really affected me very badly. And if you've had acne or struggle with acne currently, you understand where I'm coming from. It wasn't any like unnoticeable, like little bumps here. Like, it was all over, like a rash. And the thing about it is that I scar really badly. So now I don't just have dark spots, I have black spots. That is how much overproduction of melanin that my skin produces. So it has been tough. It has been tough. And moving on from that, like, just to transition, I think, 2021, my skin started to clear a little bit more. I think I started going to the dermatologist toward the end of 2021, and my skin was looking excellent. Like, it was looking really good. It was super smooth. And then from 2018 to 2020, I was involved in a situationship. It was long distance, and it just completely deterred me, like distracted me, kept me from growing my relationship with God. I was just so sold out for this person. And it was not until March of 2020 that I finally like woke up, or I think it was like May or April. And I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, why am I here? And so at that point, that is when I began to start posting on YouTube more, because I already had my channel since like 2015. And God just started pouring out just ideas. I didn't know that these were coming from God. I was just thinking, like, because of that experience that I had in that 2 years, like, it really made me think a lot. And I started coming up with content related to like dating culture. And so you can imagine that kind of popped off a little bit. So I was like, okay, like, this is dope. Like, and ideas just kept flowing. So 2020 and 21, I was really pumping out content on YouTube, and I just was starting to get I was getting purpose. Like, I was getting fulfillment of purpose from doing that. And it slowly has just turned into God, like, speaking ideas, like telling me what to say, what to talk about, what to discuss. And that's basically how I produce my content. Whatever God lays on my heart, whatever God is speaking to me, that is what I share. And so when I'm not on here a lot, that is because I don't feel like God has really pressed on me anything to speak on. So this is his channel. I have devoted this channel to God, so he can do whatever he wants. He can use me in whatever way he wants. But 2021 to 2021 is when I started producing a lot of content, and I decided to take YouTube more seriously. And so I was blessed through there, and I started to gain purpose and more like identity. Like, the more I began to put more content out there, the more confident I became. But the thing is about that, when I initially started, it was so hard. I struggled a lot with insecurity, self-hate. Like, I did not even like the sound of my voice. And one thing about it is, when the enemy knows where God has called you and what he's called you to do, he will attack that thing. And so God gifted me this voice to speak and to declare his word and to teach and to prophesy and to worship. And so, of course, the enemy's going to attack my voice. Of course, he's going to try to keep my mouth shut. And so he placed this self-hate on me that just made me hate the sound of my own voice. So I would record videos and I would not even be able to watch them back, because I just could not stand to listen to myself. Like, it literally made me cringe. And so it was tough, but I don't even know at what point that I overcame that, but eventually I did. And now I be watching my videos back all the time. I'm like, okay, girl, you said something right there. Like, like I said that. I didn't even know I said that. But yeah, the more I kept doing it, I think the more God freed me from that, and the more comfortable I got with myself on camera and in public. Definitely struggled with people pleasing a lot. That's a lot of the reason why I had so many people around me, whether they were good or bad for me, is because whatever they would ask, I would be like, yes. I was a yes man. I was a yes woman. And the more I grew closer to God, the more He revealed my identity, and the more I was able to stand up and be like, no, actually, I'm not doing that. I don't think that's a good idea, or that doesn't sit right with me, so I'm not gonna attend that event. And He just gave me more confidence to speak my mind and to not care what other people think, because at the end of the day, it's God who's giving me my identity. It's God who gives me approval. And so that is the mindset shift that started to take place in like 2021, 2022. And since 2019, I want to transition into this because I have been on the worship and praise team since 2019 at my church. And I struggled so badly with fear. I was super self-conscious of what people thought. Like, I was always like trying to make sure that I sounded pitch perfect in everything that I sung, and it was causing me like so much intimidation, so much fear, and it really hindered my ability to worship freely. And so from 2019, the more comfortable I got with my church and the members, of course, like I grew more comfortable in my worship, but it still wasn't like to the point where I was free. Like, I was definitely in bondage to the spirit of fear. And it wasn't until this year, February 2023, man, when I tell you, because you can only get delivered from something that you acknowledge. The Bible says that it is the just are delivered through knowledge, and my people perish because they lack knowledge. So knowledge is the precursor to deliverance. And so, it was one Sunday I was leading a song called Give Me Faith. Some of you may know that song. Give me faith to trust what you say. But I was leading that song, and I was in rehearsal practicing. And right after I finished practicing, I was just like, something is not right. Like, something was just registering in my mind. Like, I was having an epiphany. And it just felt like I was just so dissatisfied with the rehearsal, because I felt like I could do so much more with the song. I felt like I wanted to worship and really wanted to press in more, but I couldn't. It was like something was just literally oppressing me. And I was overthinking and trying to get my ad-libs right, and it was just like something wasn't clicking. And so I sat there in the rest of rehearsal, and God was just literally like revealing to me that there is a spirit of fear oppressing you, that is hindering you from worshiping freely, that is hindering you from progressing any further. And like over the time, like, I started speaking to myself. Like, every time I would have to get up and sing, I would be like, the Lord did not give me a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a sound mind. And I would tell myself that, and I would pray against the spirit of fear, and I would bind it. So in my mind, I was free. Mentally, I was free from fear. But the thing about deliverance, there was a casting down of the imagination of the thoughts, but there needed to be a casting out. And that's what I was missing, was the casting out of the fear, because even though I was free in my mind, my body was still reacting to whenever I had to get up and sing a solo, to whenever I had to get up and lead a song. So I would literally be trembling. My mind would be like, why am I trembling? Like, why? I'm not even nervous or anything. But my body would literally, like, I would be shivering, freezing cold, like normal temperature, but I would be freezing cold. And it was just like, this is just so demonic. And so I started crying in rehearsal, and I was just like, my pastor was just like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, I'll tell you guys in the room when we go to pray, because we pray together before service. And after we finished, I had them lay hands on me and pray for me, because I said, this is it. This is the last day that I'm battling with this. From this day forward, I will be free. And so they prayed for me, they laid hands on me, and my worship has never been the same since that day. I have been elevated in the spirit. Like it's crazy. I'll try to insert a clip here of one of our services. I just feel like we all need to release the sound. Just lift up your voice and release the sound. Pray in tongues, sing in tongues. Pray in your understanding. Because there's a sound that goes before victory. When God handed the Midianites over to Gideon and his clan, he told them to shout. When Jericho fell, they marched around 7 times and they blew their horns. There's a sound that goes before victory. There's a sound that goes before triumph. And maybe you came in here today seeking healing, seeking breakthrough. We didn't come here to do church as usual. We're not going to come here and leave with nothing. We come with expectation, and God will meet our needs. So just open up your mouth. Doesn't matter if you can sing or not. Doesn't matter. Just lift up the sound. If you don't have anything within you, let out a groan. Let out a groan. Every sound penetrates the heavenly realm. Fill this place, let your glory enter. Fill this place, let your glory enter. Shifting the atmosphere, shifting the atmosphere. Let your glory fill this place. Let us not remain the same. Have your way, God. Have your way in this place, in our hearts. It's the world. Bow down and say you are God. Every bow down and say you are worthy. So let's start right now. Why would we wait? King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. Just want to be with you. Like God has literally been using me so much, just to minister to His people, to shift the atmosphere. Like I'm just blown away and I'm amazed, and I'm just so glad that He was able to reveal that, and that I was able to have that epiphany to get my deliverance that day. And so that's my story, being delivered from the spirit of fear. As far as like insecurity and unworthiness, that has been a long process, a long journey, battling through different relationships. Like I've always settled for less than I knew I wanted. I've always wanted to be in a committed relationship, but every man that I had dealt with always ended up in a situationship. And it was because God was hiding me, but I didn't always accept that. And I always kind of put it more on myself, that I wasn't good enough or I wasn't worthy enough for them to commit. So I would settle for situationships or friendships until they were ready. And then of course they would never be ready. So it has been a long journey. And I think just now I have gotten to that place where I'm no longer settling for less than I desire. And that is evidence that I have been set free from unworthiness, insecurity. I don't wear a lot of makeup. Like, I can take this off right now and film, that's fine. I don't really care too much about it. I go to church without makeup all the time. I go to work without makeup. So it's rare occasions that I wear makeup. So I really have embraced myself. I am comfortable in my skin, though it is not to where I desire it to be. I know that God is healing me day by day, and I thank God every morning for my clear skin. I thank Him for shining His face upon me, for giving me beauty for ashes, and I know that He will restore to me all the years that I felt unworthy, all the years that I felt insecure because of my skin. And God is a good God. Let me see if I missed anything, but I think the basis of the story is that as you grow close to God and as He reveals your identity, all these insecurities and all these different battles and struggles will fade away. He'll bring you out. He'll deliver you in the time that He has set for you to be delivered. So yeah, guys, that is my testimony. I pray that it has blessed you. I pray that it has given you encouragement and hope to share your testimony and whatever situation you're going through. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I might have to do a part 2. I'm not sure, because I really have to sit with God and figure out what exactly was my testimony, because I don't really think, like, I never felt like I've been through something so drastic that it was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, it's always little testimonies. So I try to encompass the main things that I've struggled through and battled with in my lifetime. And so that's what I shared with you all today. So I hope it's been a blessing, like I said. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thank you.